Hi, this is Darling Shear of New Revelations, and this is Stop in the Name of Love. I truly want you to think some things over. And this is another part of the forgiveness series. Last week, I talked to you about 4 of the things you need to do in order to forgive someone from your head and from your heart. And it was to acknowledge the hurt, acknowledge how it made you feel, release the person, and accept them unconditionally. And we talked in detail about that. This week, I want to talk to you about some of the deceptions of forgiveness, some of the things that people may believe should happen in order to make them feel like they actually forgiven that person. And one thing is not to feel angry anymore. Well, you still may be angry about that thing. It may take a while to get past your emotions, how it made you feel. Um, it may cause you monetarily. It may cause you physically, mentally, spiritually. So the cost may have been great. You can still forgive, but those emotions will take some time to either die down or to be redirected. A lot of times anger and hurt is birth of many people's ministry. They've taken what happened to them and they have moved on with that sort of fuel that still makes them angry about it or hurt about it, and they're able to help someone else along the way accomplish peace in their lives or how to deal with tragedies and things that life sometimes bring to us that are unfortunate. Asking God to forgive that person through you. God is merciful. He's gracious. He is love. He is kind. He is compassionate. And we know that He is forgiving. He's the example of forgiveness. And He's willing to forgive each and every one of us, even when we do the same thing over and over again. But we cannot have another person forgiven through us. What we can do is pray that that person has a spirit of repentance and a desire to be forgiven. Being reconciled. It's wonderful when two people, I don't want to say the word wonderful, but it's a wonderful result when people who had been at odds are able to finally reconcile and to let all that bad stuff go and to move forward on with their lives. But for some people, reconciliation is not possible. It could be because that person is not present, or it could be that person's not willing to make changes that are necessary. If you're in an abusive relationship, sometimes reconciliation brings on more harm, or it could bring danger to your children. It can actually sometimes cause you to lose your children if you place them in a home that is unsafe and the law says, well, you know what, there's failure to protect. We want these children safe. So reconciliation in some circumstances is not possible. It could be that person has moved away, or maybe they're no longer with us. They may have died and you're not able to reconcile. And also, you may not be able to have face to face forgiveness where, because of the same issues, danger, they're no longer here, distance has separated you. Maybe they don't even want to speak to you again. So you have to forgive, but you may not always be able to do it face to face. And I forgive me for saying have to forgive. Forgiveness is something that when you're ready, that you'll be able to do it as God leads you to do it. So I don't want to tell you when to forgive, but I'm telling you that it's the most wonderful thing that you can do for yourself. I want to read from Lance Morrow. I didn't finish it last week, but it simply says this: not to forgive is to be imprisoned by the past, by old grievances that do not permit life to proceed with new business. Not to forgive is to yield yourself to another person's control, to be locked in a sequence of act and response, of outrage and revenge, tit for tat, escalating always. The present is endlessly overwhelmed and devoured by the past. Forgiveness frees the forgiver. It extracts the forgiver from someone else's nightmare. That's what forgiveness does. It actually frees you. Now, again, it's a process. It takes time for each person, but as you move on, with your life, and you let that past stop strangling you and binding you, and stop rehearsing all of the bad things, you're able to move on. Doesn't mean reconciliation. I already said it may not mean that. But forgiveness is a tool for you. It is a freedom. So next time I speak to you, I want to talk to you about why people hesitate to forgive. There's some real issues about why people aren't ready to forgive or feel like they can never forgive. And then what happens once you decide to forgive somebody? What is their responsibility? What should they be doing? I mean, you forgiving them, you giving them a gift. So what do you get in return? That's some good questions. Well, my time is almost up, but I want you to truly, if you haven't forgiven someone, if you're struggling with that thing, don't beat yourself up. Just ask God to help you have a heart of forgiveness. Understand the process. Understand that for many of us, it's going to take some time. But you can get there through the grace of God. So I just want you to think some things over. I truly want you to have happy, healthy, safe, loving relationships. So until the next time, I just need you to stop in the name of love and truly think some things over.